Hey, Mountaineer fans, we're going to go over everything that's going to happen this Saturday night. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to get down and dirty with the stats. And I'm not a stat guy, but there are some strange numbers if you look at Iowa State. So we're going to get into it. So stay tuned, hang in there, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So they might go
So, are you a believer? Do you think the Mountaineers are legit? After last week, they sure as hell looked like a legit team. All aspects of the game. It's finally the first game that was put together where there wasn't a lapse. Pitt, there was a lapse for 4 minutes where the defense decided just to take a knee. Guys, against Pitt, special teams took a knee and let them return one. What was it? They blocked a punt, returned it for a touchdown. So, thinking back to that special teams botch play, I start looking at some numbers. And Iowa State looks really good on paper, and they passed the eyeball test. And man, if you are not a college football fan and you haven't watched much college football, you wouldn't even know that Iowa State would be ranked 11. But they beat Iowa. And 2 of the past 3 years, they beat Iowa. But they have players in skill positions that are just dynamite. I mean, it's a fun team to watch. And Saturday night, 8 p.m., the Mountaineers are going to be rocking the Coal Rush unis. If you have a pulse, you have an opinion. The old heads don't like it. It's not the school colors. I get it. But an alternate uniform is exactly that, an alternate uniform. I think they look great. They're not the ones they had a couple years ago where they had the roads and that's too much. You're getting too deep with it. I mean, just make a slick black uniform, and those are definitely it. So the atmosphere in Morgantown is going to be electric. It's going to be reminiscent of the old Thursday night Virginia Tech games when Va Tech would come into Morgantown on a Thursday night. Or I remember Rutgers playing in Morgantown on a Friday night. Or Miami in '93. That was a night game. So it's going to be quite an event. I plan on attending. If you are, let me know. So in the comments, looks like we have a couple people. Just want to give you a shout out. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, what do you think of the Big 12? Utah, Kansas State are still in it. but they're in the back seat. And Iowa State, West Virginia, BYU are in the front seat. So as a fan, I went from being just downright despondent after that Pitt loss to being just had mixed emotions after that fantastic win this Saturday at Boone Pickett Stadium. So it was sold out. And then by halftime, there's probably maybe 15%, 20% of the fans stayed around to watch West Virginia manhandle. And guys, that 38-14 does not represent exactly what happened. The Mountaineers only allowed Oklahoma State one touchdown, and then they put in some backups, 30 yards rushing. But why I'm bringing it up, and I know it's Tuesday, and usually we're talking about the week ahead, it's just the performance was like a 9.5 out of 10, damn near 10 out of 10. So, guys, the coaching can't be that bad. I did a video, said the sky's not falling. It's not falling. We're looking pretty good as Mountaineer fans. The true test of how competitive West Virginia is, I think, is this Iowa State team. And then even if West Virginia beats Iowa State, they still have Kansas State coming in next week. So it's the gauntlet has begun. So let's talk about some numbers, okay? So I talked about the punt return, the block punt, and how they returned it for a touchdown. Iowa State is one of 10 teams in the nation that have blocked punts this season. Okay. You go back to 2008 for Iowa State, and they blocked 2 punts for the whole year. So that says something about their special teams. So special teams battle, I'd have to give the points to good old Iowa State, because I think they are definitely looking good. So Jaden Higgins, okay, this guy has caught a touchdown pass in 7 straight games. So this is school record and also leads the nation. Jaden Higgins is going to make plays. So what secondary? Who's going to show up for the Mountaineers? Is it going to be the stingy Oklahoma State game secondary, or is it going to be let them score 2 touchdowns in 3 minutes? So, guys, if you couldn't tell, the jury's still out for me on how I feel about this team, because it was bittersweet last week, because I'm like, my God, where have these guys been? They're phenomenal. This is what Joey and I were talking about on the other channel months ago. Could this be 05, 07, 2.0? If you just tuned into that one game, the Oklahoma State game, it'd be yes. But the Cyclones defense, they're 8th in the nation, guys. And they are the best in the Big 12, hands down. Okay. They have 8 interceptions. And so there's some cats that are just ball hawks. There's Darian Porter, Jeremiah Cooper, Jontez Williams. Okay. Each one of these guys has 2 interceptions. So you have a good special teams, stingy defense, that really, those guys are legit legit talented guys that can just not just a lot of guys they put on defense because they can't catch balls. These guys can catch balls. But before I go further, there's lots to talk about. Let's go to the comments here. Kelly McCourt. I think Iowa State was only on the field for around 17 minutes and West Virginia 43. Or Oklahoma State. Yeah, Oklahoma State. Yeah, Oklahoma. He meant Oklahoma State. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so if West Virginia can get that type of play and that type of production, there is not a game they're not going to be in the rest of the season. So the bar is set. I mean, that's what they can do. And that's the way they played 85% of the Pitt game. Didn't see any of it in the Penn State game. So let's talk about, as I said on here, the road dogs, right? These Iowa State Cyclones are road dogs. So they have won, I think, 6 of 7 away games. And they've won 5 straight Big 12 games. So with that being said, let's talk about the defense under this guy named John Kickoff. He leads the Big 12, and he's the sixth nationally. And this Cyclones team allows only 10 points a game on average. So we talked about the passing defense. We know it's legit, but they're 5th nationally. They only allow 133 yards per game. If West Virginia only gets 133 yards passing, I don't care how good Garrett Green's legs are and how good our backfield is, they're not going to win. So West Virginia has to at least have 200 yards. Right? Now, you ever hear the saying, let's wear the defense down, right? Possession wear. No, that's not the way it is. So fourth quarter is the stingiest quarter for these Cyclones. Yeah, not good. West Virginia has had difficulty in the fourth quarter. Now, the Albany game, they put in some backups, but Kansas looked a little bit like they could score, like they were moving the ball in the fourth quarter against West Virginia. It made me a little bit concerned. But the Oklahoma State game, there were some backups in there. So fourth quarter, kind of scratched my head, hoping that West Virginia can hang on because of that Pitt fiasco. So now the turnover margin, I think they're +7, which it's top 10. I mean, they've had 16 interceptions last season, and then they have 8 already this season. So they're on par, or they're going to be above what their average was last year. So we're 5 games in. So they're looking to either tie the 16 interceptions or maybe surpass it. So who else? What else? What am I missing, guys? Beck. Rocco Beck. What a name. I was kind of hoping he was related to Anthony Beck, who was a West Virginia stud, a tight end that played in the NFL. I think he's going to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame, West Virginia Hall of Fame here this weekend. So, guys, Iowa State, I'm making them sound like the big bad wolf, but they are. If you don't think they're probably the best, other than Penn State, Iowa State is probably the best team we'll play this year. It's not my opinion. It's what the numbers are telling me. Right? So I can't remember what Penn State was ranked, but I think they were like 10 or 11, maybe 9. But Rocco Beck, back to that cat. Oh, man, this is one I don't want to tell you guys about. He's had a 50-yard bomb in, I think, 6 of the last 9 games. Just airing it out. That is a backbreaker. It's a game-crushing stat. And then Abu Sama. I don't know if you guys remember a guy named Noel Devine. But this guy, number 12 for Iowa State, broke one. I was watching against Baylor, and I was rubbing my eyes. I'm like, he's moving like Noel Devine there. Just shifty, low center of gravity, hard to tackle, maybe a little smaller than what Noel was. I think this cat's Noel Devine, I think, is 5'7". This cat must be 5'5". Probably didn't get a lot of Division I offers because of his size. But his pad level is low. He's hard to see. And it's hard to see this guy because he's running so fast, too. So I did dig the white unis that the Cyclones were rocking last week against Baylor. They looked fantastic with like black shoes, the white uniforms, black gloves. Guys, that looked good. So wonder what they're going to wear this week. Probably have maybe some red pants and black or white tops. But so what are some other nuggets that I could give you guys? I don't want to go too long. I want to go about half an hour here. So Iowa State, these Cyclones, the last time they were 6-0 was 1938. They haven't been 5-0 since 1980. So, but Matt Campbell is 20-11 in October. So, but 43-21 against Baylor was about what you'd expect. I mean, Baylor can score a few points. Baylor has been competitive in most of these games, including against Colorado. But, guys, we still got to play Baylor. Mountaineers do. But by the end of the season, I think Baylor, a lot of the kids will be tuned out. They're going to lose kids because they're looking for other places to play. Once you've lost 4 or 5 games, it's hard to keep these kids engaged. That's not a fact. That's just an opinion. But, Iowa State did trail. And when I turned it on, they were down 14-3. So I turned this on. They were down 4-3. I'm like, this is a ball game. I gotta watch it. And then I start seeing Beck make a couple plays, Samu make a flip through plays, and then they start picking up steam, and they broke a couple big plays right in the middle of the field for 20-yard gains, and it was all over. Baylor just collapsed. So, who does Beck like to throw it to? Well, we know it's Jaden Higgins because we talked about him earlier. But Jalen Noel, no relation to Noel Devine because Noel is his first name. But I saw Noel. I'm like, oh, Noel Devine. But guys, this is like these two of the best passing combos, the duo. You focus on Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel gets the ball thrown to him. So like I said, Jaden Higgins has a touchdown in 7 straight games, and then Noel has 2 100-yard plus games. So combined, last week against Baylor, these two gentlemen had 13 receptions for a combined 214 yards, guys. So that's my down and dirty rundown. And I got a lot of that information from our very own Joey. So, Joey Foster, thanks for that information. I'm going to be attending the game. I'm very excited to see a night game. I haven't seen a night game probably since LSU. And that was what, 12, 13 years ago. So I'll be on the Voice of College Football at 8 o'clock with Joey. Then, if you're a Steelers fan, 10 o'clock tonight, Steelers Dynasty podcast, and then 9 o'clock tomorrow night, Steelers Dynasty podcast. Then back to college football with Voice of College Football West Virginia channel at 8 on Thursday. But stay tuned for and click the like button, also the notification bell, so you can have an idea when these shows are coming on. And guys, thanks for watching, and let's go Mountaineers.